Hello everyone, this is Brave Sir Robin, bringing to you another EB Online battle. This is a 2v2 that was fought recently using the new 3.0 EDU. It features me and Vasilefs on one team. I'm playing as Carthage, Vasilefs is playing as Macedon. We're teamed up against Game Geek 2 playing as Epeiros, and Shak playing as the Koinon Hellenon. Alright, I'm just going to briefly go through the armies. 2v2s are much larger in scope, obviously, so it would take a little bit longer. Alright, so out in front here I have 2 units of Cretan archers. I'm not going to bother with the native names for this battle. And in reserve I brought 2 units of Numidian slingers. I also have a unit of Balearic slingers on the flanks. My cavalry force is composed of 2 units of Numidian nobles and a unit of Gallic noble cavalry. My main line is composed mainly of 4 units of Libyan Phoenician infantry, which are basically the Carthaginian hoplite equivalent, and the flanks on a unit of Nietos on each flank, Gallic heavy swordsmen. I have 2 units of the Iberian heavy infantry, the Loricati Scutarii, again on each flank. 2 units of the Iberian assault infantry, and 2 units of the Hastati Samnite medium spearmen. Okay, so I move my slingers up here, as he doesn't have many missile units. Macedon has taken mainly a phalangite line, with some hoplites on the flanks, some slingers, some Cretan archers, and some Thracian peltasts, Agrarian assault infantry, and a bunch of Epeiros. My opponent, Game Geek 2, he's taken very few missile units, only 2 units of Hellenic slingers. He's taken a phalangite line, mostly of Epeiros with 1 unit of the levies, 3 units of peltasts, 4 units of Agrarian assault infantry, a unit of boy swordsmen, general's bodyguard, which you can see me pelting with my slingers right now, and a relatively strong cavalry contingent, 2 units of Epeiros Aspidoroi, and 2 units of Lancophore Hippies. So I start off the battle here by pelting his Hellenic bodyguard cavalry with my slingers. Since they don't have a shield, they die relatively quickly to slings. And he doesn't really have anything that can stop my slingers. He doesn't have any archer units. So I figured, why not get a couple cheap kills in. He's not reacting immediately to this. Now you can see him. He's about to pull them back. But yeah. If you can get some cheap kills in on a general's bodyguard unit, always a good idea. Now they're pushed further back, so the command eagle and the general's bonus won't have much of an effect on his army as it would normally. Meanwhile, the Koinon Hellenon player has taken mostly a hoplite line. In reserve, he has 4 units of Thorakitai hoplitai, which have armor-piercing swords. He's got 2 units of the hoplite bodyguards to anchor the morale of his men. 2 units of Iberi Catrati, a light armor-piercing sword unit. A unit of Thracioi Hippeis, Thracian light cavalry, the javelins. 2 units of Hippeis Sistophoroi, the Hellenic Greek noble cavalry. A unit of Akontistai, Hellenic skirmishers. A unit of Spendonetai, which is currently getting shot up. You can see the arrows piercing their tender flesh. And 2 units of Scythian horse archers, which he's ran around the back here to sort of harass. I'm going to focus mainly on this side of the battle. And as you can see here, I've brought my slingers up to drive his general back even further away from his army. He brings his slingers up and he starts firing at his slingers, but my units of Cretan archers are doing a number on them. And I also have those 2 units of slingers that I start firing at them as well. So you can see he's in a tough spot. Now he moves his cavalry over here, and I was afraid that he was going to run out here and maybe get a hold of the slinger unit. So I pull my slingers back a little bit and actually target these cavalry, hoping that they'll turn their backs after I pull my men back, which they will. He's not going to leave them out there. It's an unprotected spot. I don't really get many kills. They're in loose formation. They have big shields, but any kills are enough kills. Now, I'm showing the early part of this battle to sort of show how you can a missile duel. Personally, for me, I don't like missile duels. I'd rather just pick a barbarian faction and bum rush my opponent. However, it can be a good idea, depending on your faction, to want to get into a prolonged missile duel. Units like Panis or the Koinon Hellenon that have access to very powerful archers will want to use that advantage. You're not just going to want to run out and get all your men killed. Carthage, for example, can recruit the Cretan mercenary Cretan archers, which are one of the better missile units in the game. And so I've spent a lot of money on them. I don't want to just run out and have my archers sitting behind the lines with no one to shoot at. So I want to use that advantage, kill off his missile units, maybe sting his cavalry a little. A lot of his support infantry is relatively lightly armored, like these guys and the Peltasts. So if I can get a couple extra kills on them, swing the infantry battle a tiny bit my way, it's never a bad thing. And of course, getting kills on cavalry is priceless. This man, for example, is wondering, why didn't you shoot my buddy? Oh well. Anyway. Okay, so I'm basically just targeting his slingers. I'm whittling them down. It's going to get a little more interesting in a second. I might actually fast forward to that. Just because this can get a little tedious. In the heat of battle, you have to watch these things carefully because a quick cavalry deployment can ruin a slinger's day. But here I sort of know what's going to happen. As you can see, I'm just shooting his slingers up. These poor guys. Over on the other side of the battle, you can see that he's annoyed about these two horse archer units, even though he's not really doing much with them. He's sending his slingers out, which ends up being a mistake. The slingers just get charged by the horse archers and killed. Slingers don't really do well against light horse archers anyway. You want to use them against the heavier guys. Alright, so eventually something's going to happen here. Eventually, when I kill off the slingers, so you can see I got this one down to one man. This guy is just bravely tossing stones over there. Maybe he's hoping to kill the general with one shot. Who knows? Unfortunately, he does not have a sniper rifle. Alright, now I don't know what he's doing here. He's running his slingers forward. I guess he was hoping maybe... I don't know what he was hoping. Maybe to get him to javelin range and I would have fire at will on. You get a couple cheap kills. But anyway, slingers are running away. So I think he actually decides he's going to move his line up here pretty quickly. Or not. I'm just mistaken. Oh, actually, I know what happens. I decided to take a couple shots at his cavalry, but they have almost no effect. All of his cavalry have big shields. I guess that's why he decided not to take many missile units. Thinking that, well, my cavalry have shields, that'll defend them against missiles. And to an extent, he's completely correct with that. You can actually hear the horns blaring. Oh, look, see. Those slingers just got hit by the Scythian cavalry. Oh well. In 2v2s, it's very hard to watch both ends of the battle. Even in a replay, it's difficult. In the actual battle, it gets even more challenging. And basically, you want to focus on your side, but have a slight bit of awareness about what's going on over here. You don't want 3 units showing up on your flank with no way to protect against them, for example. But at the same time, you don't want to neglect the cavalry battle that might be raging over here. So it can get a little tricky, and that's why 2v2s are probably one of my favorite modes of play, along with 3v3s, which just add to the excitement and craziness that's going on. Okay, so I bring my slingers up. I'm trying to get him back in the range of his cavalry general again. I'm trying to get a few more cheap kills on him, drive them back even further, and then I move my infantry up so they're not completely exposed out there. And you can see you can hear horses dying, and the men saying, "Why is my general so stupid to expose himself to slings?" So what he ends up doing here is he moves his Peltasts up because he wants to counter the Numidian slingers. And the Peltasts are quick. They're relatively lightly armored, but they can pass as light medium infantry if need be. So they're a good counter to light units because they'll resist the sling bullets, but they can kill them either in melee or up close with their javelins. So here you can see he's bringing the Pelt Hadast up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the slingers back, because I don't want them to get hit with javelins, or I don't want them to get charged, whichever one he's going to do. So I pull my slingers back, and he decides he wants to fire his javelins at me. Now at the same time I do this, my archers, I've been saving ammo with them, I target the Pelt Hadasts. Pelt Hadasts aren't quite so highly armored. You can see the effect the archers are having on 5 kills here. No one died in that unit. But 5 kills with 1 volley is nothing to sneeze at. And then I pull my slingers back. And I guess what he was hoping was that he could line the Pelt Hadasts up right over here and get some javelin volleys in on my guys, which he can't. I've pulled them back far enough. So now what does he do with these Pelt Hadasts? They're just sitting out here and they have no one really to target. He pulls them really close, which is a mistake. I just charge my spearmen right into them. And so he pulls them back. So what do? I target their backs with the archers. And you can watch this unit dwindle from 86. Watch as the volleys hit it.